All right, welcome back to MMA Al Dente. We are here on the eve of UFC 270. We have just lost 2 fights, which fucking sucks. We lost Ilia Topuria due to weight cutting issues, which, you know, unless it's something totally out of his control, it's likely his fault. And we lost Rodolfo Vieira to something else that I didn't do the fucking research on. But either way, I'm going to blame Topuria, and I'm going to not even do the research for Vieira because I'm too fucking lazy. But Topuria's out of his fight with Charles Jourdain. Jourdain's out too. He's not fighting. And so is Wellington Turman versus Rodolfo Vieira. That fight is off. So, really disappointing start to the UFC pay-per-view weekend. Hopefully everything else stays intact. And God forbid the main event falls apart. I mean, we still have Figueiredo versus Moreno 3, but that'll be a very weak pay-per-view. This might itself be a very weak pay-per-view for all I know. Although I think it's garnering interest. You know, the heavyweight fight is big. The heavyweight title is big. And some of the fighters, of course, they're pretty fucking big. All right, let's start with them. Ngannou versus Gane. I've got Ngannou winning this fight. And I decided this a few days ago. I had it in my head for months since the Derek Lewis fight that Gane was going to win this fight and win via decision. That's still my second pick in this fight, is Gane via decision, meaning, you know, I might just bet on that. But my first pick is Ngannou via stoppage. I'm taking Ngannou via knockout or TKO. I think he's going to have to get it done early, although Ngannou's definitely got heart, where I don't trust that anybody will finish him. And Ngannou's got, he's got a lot of heart, and he's got power, which we haven't seen too much. I mean, we've seen enough of it, but we haven't seen too much of it in later rounds. But I believe it'll be there if he's put there. If he's, you know, put in that spot where he's got to fight in round 4, he's still going to have knockout power. That's what I think about Francis Ngannou. But I'm taking Ngannou. I think he's going to close the distance eventually and hurt Gane. It's going to have to be early. I do think Gane's kicks will be dictating the striking. But Francis knows what he has to do here. And look, it may look, and it does look, sloppy when he swarms fighters sometimes. Certainly the Rosenstruck knockout. But look what happened. He got a knockout over that great kickboxer. So that's just what I see happening here. These guys have trained together. Ngannou says he knocked him out. Gane says he didn't. And Gane's coach, of course, says he didn't. But nevertheless, a knockout is certainly possible. And I'd say it's Francis's best chance of winning just about any fight. And it's certainly his best chance of winning this fight. I do think a decision, very, like if they fought 100 decisions, I don't know, 70-something of them, 70% are going to Gane. Gane's winning the decision, typically. But Ngannou's got power that can not only steal a fight, you know, sink the 8 ball, so to speak, but it can win rounds, too. He's just got that power where, you know, one good punch, even if it doesn't knock you silly, it's enough to win a round. Of course, knocking anyone silly will win a round. But Francis, he's got a little more tools than I think he's been given credit for here. Certainly, the submission games are both underrated, I think, but I can't see that playing a factor here. Although, who knows? These guys have trained together. Maybe they know. But, yeah, I'm going with Ngannou. It's not something I'm totally confident in. So, you know, I think if I'm betting on this fight, it'll be for fun. But I'm not going to recommend any bets for this fight because I'm not too sure about it. Brandon Moreno versus Davison Figueiredo, number 3. I'm not too confident about betting on this one. My pick is Moreno. He was my pick for the second fight. And he was, I think, even my pick for the first fight. But look, that first fight, Figueiredo, without the point deductions, that was his fight. And Brandon Moreno dominated fight number 2. he looked a lot better, which is usually indicative of what's going to happen. Just look at Stipe DC. But this is a very difficult matchup, and I do think Figueiredo underperformed in fight number 2. I do think of all of them, we're going to look at all 3 fights, all 2 fighters, 6 performances, which one's the anomaly at the end of this trilogy, and everybody's going to say it was that one. That's what I think. So, I'm just expecting a close decision. I'm expecting a fight closer to the first fight, and gun to my head, I guess I'll go with Figueiredo. What the fuck? But yeah, I'm not really confident in this. I picked Brandon Moreno the first 2 times. I was surprised. I was impressed with Deiveson Figueiredo, his cardio and everything else in the first fight. Second fight, I was a little disappointed with his performance. I thought he kind of just fell flat. He came out flat, and Moreno just took that fight from him. He never got momentum ever. I don't remember him with any real big moments in fight number 2. So, yeah, that's my pick. I guess I'll lean towards Figueiredo, thinking he's going to show up. I know he's going to show up here. But hopefully Brandon Moreno hasn't just excelled that much, which is a total possibility. Third fight from the top, Michel Pajeda, or Ferreira, however the fuck you say his name. I think I'm inclined to say Pajeda, but he's fighting Andre Fialho. I've got Michel winning this fight. I think it'll be via decision. I'm hoping to see a knockout, but I'm predicting a decision. I'm predicting a sneeze. God damn. All right. Back to normal. No, we're not. All right. Anyway, I'm picking Michel Pajeda to win a decision. I do think Andre Fialho is a capable fighter, and he's going to be really, aggressive, and he's a competent striker. I do think he's worried about his chin more and his cardio more, and I do think Michel Pajeda, anyway, is a really difficult decision fighter. Really difficult guy to, unless you take him down like Tristan Connolly, but a lot of that was given to him on a platter by Michel. I don't see Michel putting his hips in front of anybody, letting him wrangle him to the ground. And to be frank, I don't see Fialho looking to impose that game plan. I don't doubt that he's got the grappling to out-grapple Pajeda, but I think he's really expecting a serious disadvantage, just physically. The physicality will belong to Michel Pajeda. He doesn't always use it. Sometimes uses his athleticism to make it a boring fight from the outside. But, and of course, he's really effective there. But if Fialho is trying to close the distance and really taking risks to make sure he can't fight that way, I still think Michel Pajeda is in a position. I just favor him in any type of fight. I do think I trust his chin more. I trust his power more than most fighters at that weight class. Absolutely, most of them. And I trust his chin more too. Not even chin, but his fallibility due to strikes. Is that a word, fallibility? I don't know. Roll with it. All right. Fourth fight from the top. Cody Stamen versus Saeed Nurmagomedov. All right. My heart's not in this completely, but I'm picking Cody Stamen. My heart's in this fight. But I see what you guys see. I expect Saeed Nurmagomedov to win. But I do think Cody Stamen is one of those really difficult fighters who can steal a round from anybody and steal 2 from most. And just on that anti-wrestler, strike, sprawl, and brawl, even though he doesn't really do much of either. But anti-wrestler, kickboxer type of template. I'm picking Stamen here. I think Stamen will present problems to Saeed Nurmagomedov. He's not Raoni Barcelos, but he's really strong and solid, and he's difficult to wrangle, and he's good enough on his feet to present the problem. I still think Saeed brings a better array of attacks, much better, cooler attacks, but Cody Stamen is bread and butter basic, and you know, that ensures he's going to score points at a minimum. He's going to score points with the jab and the 1-2 and whatever the fuck. Although Saeed Nurmagomedov lands some of his wild shit, those will score points. But you have to land them. And you're going to present openings to a fighter like Cody Stamen if you go for wild shit. So Stamen, you know, I'd feel more confident in this if he was a harder striker, which he's not. And of course, I think that hurts him overall in his career. Where it's just, if you take anybody else in his position who's fighting at even his weight, you know, 135, and give him 10 fights, 10 wins, they're going to have more knockouts than Cody Stamen, most of them. Cody Stamen's not getting too many knockouts. I don't think he has one in the UFC. But he's a really good striker. He's always going to be there. And just with technique, the knockout will come. You'll just see that fighter you'd never expect to get a knockout, just get a clean knockout one day, and it's because his hands are there. Maybe that's this fight. It'd be fucking awesome if it is. But what I'm inclined to think will happen is he wins a decision. Okay. Is it Michael Morales versus Trevin Giles? 5th from the top. I don't know. I'm taking Giles here. I just think Giles will be the more solid UFC fighter. By the way, this is Giles moving down at 170. I'm hoping he has, you know, I know he had a good weight cut. He didn't miss weight anyway. I'm hoping Giles looks good here at this weight class. And if he does, he can be a really big, strong, literally big, strong problem. I'm taking Giles to win a decision here. I think he's going to largely control this fight with strength. I'm hoping it'll be a grappling game plan. But even striking, well, striking I think he could be in trouble with, although he's still a very competent striker. But I'm hoping there's clinching and wrestling. I want to see Giles bully this UFC newcomer. And that's what I'm picking, Trevin Giles. Raoni Barcelos versus Victor Henry. This may be on an old video. I don't know. I know they were supposed to fight a month ago. Maybe it was UFC 269 for all I know. But I want to say it was definitely December. And it sucks that the fight fell through. But nevertheless, it's here now. It's on this card, which we really need. Because we just had 2 fallouts, as I said. Or withdrawals. Scratches. And Raoni Barcelos is going to win this fight. Victor Henry, I have to see what the odds look at. I remember considering putting a bet on him back then, but that's just in case Raoni Barcelos falls apart first, which I don't see happening. I'm picking Barcelos to win here. I think it'll be a decision. Maybe it'll be worth it to place a bet on the 3rd round prop for Barcelos, you know, and that's if it's a gradual beating, or perhaps even 2nd round. But Victor Henry's a durable fighter. And I'm picking Barcelos to just be better everywhere. I think he's going to hurt him on the feet and bully him around on the ground. Taking Raoni Barcelos via unanimous decision. Tony Gravely versus Simon. I'm going with it. Maybe Simon. But I'm going Simon Oliveira. I don't know. I try to get too fucking Portuguese with it and look what happens. So I'm taking Tony Gravely here. I just think he is a really good, even underrated fighter at this point. I think he's going to beat a lot of good fighters in the UFC. I think he is going to sneeze. Hold on. Give him a minute. All right, I'm on camera doing that, so you just witnessed it. I forced that sneeze. You guys do that, right? I was halfway there and then I forced it. That's how I do sneezes. I sneeze, I clean my nose, clean out my nose completely with the tissue, and then I clean out my mouth, just in case there's some fucking, I'm gonna gag. Alright. Go ahead, I got this on camera. I'm taking Tony Gravely to win via unanimous decision. I think he's a really good wrestler who's, you know, you want to stop that guy. You got to have, well, you definitely have to have cardio, but you have to be able to hang with him on the ground, first of all. You need a fucking, I don't know what kind of belt he is on the ground. I want to say you need to have a purple belt at least to hang with him on the ground. And you need anti-wrestling abilities and knockout power to stop Tony Gravely. Against a UFC newcomer, I'm taking Gravely. I think he's a really good fighter, UFC bound for a long time. Glad you guys are getting all this. Jack Della Maddalena taking on Pete Rodriguez. I don't know about this guy, Pete Rodriguez, to be honest. I'm taking Jack Della Maddalena, whatever the fuck, Mary Magdalene, via knockout. I'm taking it in round 2. I think it'll be one of those hurt the newcomer. He's inexperienced. He's finding out how much fighting sucks when you're fighting a really good guy, and then overwhelm him and finish him type of fights. I'm taking Jack Della Magdalena, whatever the fuck. There's no G, there is a G, whatever. Matt Fravola versus newcomer Genaro Valdez. I think I'm going to bet on Valdez via first round knockout. And I'm going to bet on Matt Fravola via unanimous decision. Decision. And maybe something on round 3 for Fravola, but not really. I'm inclined to think Fravola wins a decision or gets knocked out in round 1. Hope it's a really good fight. Meaning, I guess I hope Fravola wins via decision. He's a local guy here. I like Matt Fravola. And I think he's a really good UFC fighter. He's already got good enough wins to prove he belongs here. He's a bona fide UFC fighter. But that last loss didn't look good. And I hope he doesn't get knocked out again in round 1. Because not only will that add a loss to his record. Let me adjust the fucking camera here. Not only will that add a loss to his record, but that will put his UFC career in danger. And potentially his MMA career, for all I know. With the introspection, all that shit will bring. But I'm taking Fravola via unanimous decision. I think it's going to be one of those fights in which it's tooth and nail. We find out Valdez does have good cardio. He can hang. And Fravola wins round 3, regardless of how the decision plays out. Taking Fravola. Vanessa Demopoulos versus Silvana. What the fuck is the G for? I know it's Juarez. Gomez. Silvana Gomez Juarez. I just wrote down SGJ. Taking Vanessa to win this fight. I'm hoping that she can bully her. Have, you know, stronger. Just win it with physicality. And a lot of it being on the ground. Depends on what happens with the takedowns and whatever. But I think Vanessa is, you know, good enough on her feet where she can hit hard and she can get in your face and brawl, close that distance. I don't see her losing from the outside, and that's really where I would see Silvana Gomez Juarez winning this fight, on the outside, longer attacks generally, and I'm not sure. I'm picking Demopoulos to get her down. I can't trust a finish. I'm picking a decision, but really this fight's going to come down to her grappling prowess and her strength. Demopoulos, that is. And I guess both their grappling prowess, but can Demopoulos wrangle her to the floor? If she has an easy wrangle in round 1, the fight's hers. If not, fight's probably still hers, to be honest. But she's going to need to work for it, and that'll bode well for Silvana Gomez Juarez's chances. She's able to stop that first takedown, because that won't just tell us anything about technique and whatever. It'll tell us something about strength, you know? Although strength changes over the course of a fight, depending on your cardio. First fight, last fight I'm going to cover here. I forgot what the Jasmine, I think. Jazz Duvicius, Contender Series fighter, fighting Kay Hansen. I'm taking Kay Hansen here. I'm not totally confident in this, but I do think Kay Hansen will be Again, this is kind of like the last fight, but if Kay's able to wrangle her to the floor, Kay should win this fight. Although even that fight against Corey McKenna, Kay, I thought, kicked ass. And I bet on Corey and won money on Corey. But that was Kay Hansen's fight. Kay Hansen kicked ass and got robbed, to be frank. I think Kay Hansen is really good, is a really mentally strong fighter. We've seen her. I think she's got multiple third-round finishes. I think the majority of her fights and wins have ended via her winning in the third round. And I want to say that's always a possibility for a UFC newcomer, which she is not. Not that she's the most experienced fighter, but somebody that's strong in round 3, generally speaking, is a problem for a UFC newcomer. And I think that's going to play a role in this. And also just her strength. Of course, if she's able to be controlled by Jasdovicius in the clinch, and she's not, loses those clinch battles, she is going to be in a lot of trouble in this fight. She's still got heart. She's still got tenacity, where she can get that submission in round 3. She'll actually go for it. That finish over Jin Yu Fry was fucking beautiful. But I'm taking Hansen here. I'm taking Hansen via unanimous decision. I might bet on the submissions, and I will hit that third round prop, no matter what. All right, those are my bets, my picks, and all that shit. Hopefully you guys watch the fights, and hopefully you enjoy them, and I will be back to review them on Sunday morning. I'll be in my bathrobe. It's going to be great. We'll talk about all the shit that went down. The 2 title fights, Cody Stamen, the commentators, whatever. All right.